इंडियन पिनल कोड के MCQ को सॉल्व करेंगे। आपके स्क्रीन में क्वेश्चंस आएंगे विद 4 ऑप्शंस। तो इसके पहले मैं आप लोगों को आंसर्स बताऊं तो मैं चाहती हूँ कि आप लोग अपने आंसर्स कमेंट में लिख लीजिए, सो डैट पता चल जाए कि आपको कि आपने जो आंसर दिया है वो सही है या गलत। सो लेट्स बिगिन। द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज द कंप्लीट ड्राफ्टिंग ऑफ द इंडियन पीनल कोड was done in 1850 and presented to A. the Legislative Council in 1856, B. the Legislative Assembly in 1857, C. the Legislative Council in 1855, D. the Legislative Assembly in 1856. So the right answer is option A, the Legislative Council in 1856. It is because the first final draft of IPC was submitted to the Governor General of India in the Council in 1837. But the draft was again revised and the drafting of this code was completed in 1850. And finally, the code was presented to the Legislative Council in 1856. We'll move to the another question. The Indian Penal Code came into operation on A. 6 October 1860, B. 1st September 1873, C. 1st July 1882, D. 1st January 1862. The right answer is option D, 1st January 1862. The next question is, crime is option A, essentially an immoral act, option B, an illegal act, option C, essentially a socially immoral act, option D, none of the above. So the right answer is option B, an illegal act. I will explain it further. Crime in ordinary language means an unlawful act punishable by a state or any other authority. One of the proposed definition is that crime is an act harmful not only to individual but also the community, society or the state, which are punishable by the law. I hope it is clear now. The next question is, who was the president of the drafting committee of the Indian Penal Code? A. Lord William Bentinck, B. Lord Curzon, C. Lord Macaulay, D. Lord Irwin. The right answer to this question is C. Lord Macaulay. I would like to tell further you all that this code was drafted in 1860 on the recommendation of First Law Commission of India, which was established in 1834 under the Charter Act of 1833, and it was chairmaned by the Lord Macaulay. Now the next question is, as originally enacted, the Indian Penal Code contained how many sections? A. 511, B. 488, C. 530, D. 482. The correct answer is option B, 488 sections. Originally, when Indian Penal Code was enacted, it contained 488 sections, but now at present we have 511 sections. We'll move further to the next question. An Indian citizen commits any offence outside of India. He, option A, cannot be prosecuted in India as the act was not committed in India. B, can be prosecuted in the country where the offence was committed. Option C, can be prosecuted in India in any place in which he may be found. Option D, none of the above. So the correct answer is option C, can be prosecuted in India in any place in which he may be found. It is because if any citizen commits any offence outside India, then that person will be tried in the same manner as if such act had been committed within India. So that person can be prosecuted in India in any place in which he may be found. The next question is, under which section of IPC a person, irrespective of his nationality, can be held guilty and is liable to punishment for any offence within India? Option A, Section 2 of IPC, option B, Section 5 of IPC, option C, Section 7 of IPC, option D, both A and B. So the correct answer to this question is option A, that is section 2 of IPC. I will explain it further. Section 2 deals with the intra-territorial operation of the code. It refers to the offence committed in India and shall be punishable under this code, जो कि मुबारक अली वर्सेस स्टेट ऑफ बॉम्बे में क्लियरली बताया गया था अबाउट द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ क्रिमिनल लोकेलिटी. We'll move to the next question. Which of the following section make all the offences under the code without exception to be extraterritorial? Option A, section 2. Option B, section 4. Option C, section 5. Option D, section 7. So the right answer is option B, section 4. Section 4 itself says about the extension of the code to that extraterritorial offences. It is the extended version of section 3. The sole basis of this section is that it is equally applicable to the citizens who commit any offence outside the boundary or territory of India, and also on the person who commits it on the Indian territory. ये साफ है, जहाँ कहीं पर भी एक्सटेंशन ऑफ कोड टू एक्स्ट्रा टेरिटोरियल ऑफेंसेस की बात आएगी तो सेक्शन 4 ऑफ IPC विल डील विद इट. द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज which of the following section of the IPC does not affect the provisions of any act for punishing mutiny, desertion of officers, soldiers, sailors or airmen in the service of Government of India or the provisions of any special or local law? Option A, section 3 of IPC. Option B, section 4 of IPC. Option C, section 5 of IPC. Option D, both A and C. The right answer to this question is option C, section 5 of IPC. It is because this code will not affect the provisions of any act for punishing these certain laws which are mentioned under section 5 of IPC. We will move to the last question of this video. The law of contempt is exercised in case of A, contempt committed in facie, B, contempt committed in generalia specialibus non-derogant, C, contempt committed in ultra vires, D, contempt committed in ad hoc. The right answer to this question is option A, contempt committed in facie. Facie means before or in the presence of the court. So I hope you all enjoyed this question answer round. I'll bring more MCQs